this old screen printing guard of all these sort of like old white men who would just like sell you their granny's shoes for a fiver sort of thing. Like I just don't understand. Like
I've never heard that one before. Sell you their granny shoes for a fiver.
Squeegee Ink Podcast Season 2. This podcast is sponsored by Blind Maggot, Magna Colours, Screenprint World, Target Transfers, and Adobe Creative Suite.
I'm Sarah from Heck Press.
So if people don't know, I already interviewed you like well over a year ago. It must have been like maybe even a year and a half too, because Rory wasn't around then, was he?
Oh yeah, I think I was like pregnant, but I hadn't like told anybody I was pregnant. So
secret pregnancy.
Yeah. Yeah, so denial.
Yeah, that's funny. So like, what was like happened? Like big things. Obviously, like, how long did you take off your maternity leave and stuff?
It's
not really maternity leave if you work for yourself, is it?
No. The government needs to sort that out. It's dreadful. Like maternity payment they give me was just like about enough to cover like the outgoings of my business every month. Like it's dreadful. But yeah, I think I had Rory in June. I did have him in June.
Yeah.
Start of a year ago, say. But I was kind of like winding down from February really. Because I got like this bad thing that you sometimes get when you're pregnant, called, I can't remember what it's called, but basically like you're just in like so much pain, like you can't walk or anything. So I was kind of like already feeling it from about February. I got it with my first kid as well. So I'd had like my husband in and he'd like been helping me print and stuff, but it was like, it's quite painful. So
poor bugger.
Yeah. And it's worse if you're a manual printer because it's all those muscles around your belly and everything. They basically just go, because all your muscles are like attached to like your legs and everything. And when all your muscles are attached together, and then when one of them's doing a new job, eventually it's like, right, fuck this, we can't do all the other stuff we used to do. And then all the muscles that rely on those just go, oh shit, like what do we do now? And that's essentially what happens. So yeah, I think I was still printing like 4 days before I had Rory. He came a bit early, so that was a bit of a surprise. But yeah, so I was off then from just like the end of May properly till start of January this year.
So like, how did you start winding that down? Were you just being more and more and more selective with customers, and like were you turning more jobs away, or like how did that look?
A bit like that. Just sort of saying like, I can't do it. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I've got into a sticky situation recently. You might be able to help me. Have you told someone like, my go-to is like, I'm fully booked at the moment. Here's another printer, and then they're like, I'll wait, and I'm like, no, I'm not tacking you on the end. I really am fully booked. Blah blah blah. And they like, I don't care how long it takes. And you're like, shit, I've got to like default to, I don't want to do this job. Go somewhere else. Leave me alone. Like, how do you say it without being harsh to them?
I don't know how you'd really answer that one. Like, yeah, I'm booked indefinitely.
I know, read between the lines, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you really don't want to do it, you could just say like, it's really not it's not my sort of area. Like, I'd really invite you to go here. And then if they keep saying, just say no. I'm sorry, the answer is just no.
Yeah. I'm having to have so many grown-up conversations this week. Like,
oh yeah,
where you don't want to resolve things, but then you're forced to, and you're like, I've got to go into like Aaron mode or something. No. It's like, just like one thing, for example, is like we had our shirts in this shop and they weren't paying us. So I was like, I'm going to take the shirts out of the shop then until you pay us. Or actually, I'm just going to take the shirts out of the shop indefinitely. Yeah. But I'm not like getting to a level anymore where I'm like, this is Aggie. I'm just like black and white, this happened, so this is the result. You don't respond quick enough, I'm literally going to react. So I don't have any of this back and forth bartering, getting upset with people anymore. So
oh my God, that's
like,
pretty tough.
Yeah. But you do have to go into this mode sometimes with people, don't you? You're like, okay, I've got to go into shitty mode and get shit done and get things resolved. Yeah. But like one big thing for you was getting the big dryer recently. That was
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Can you not like think of what it was like when you had the small one now? You're like, how did I manage again?
Oh no, I mean, I've still got the wee Vastex in there, and it's sold actually. Someone's going to come pick it up in a couple of weeks, and it'll be great for their shop because they're plastisol, and it's a great dryer for plastisol. But the dryer is amazing. Like it's just I can fit like so much stuff down it. I'm sorry, my earphones are falling out. I've been in today like 300 prints or something, and it's just been so easy because I can fit two at a time, and I don't have to run stuff through twice. So it's like 6 times the dryer. Do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing, and it's got this belt. If you see, so it comes back to you.
Oh right, yeah.
So it's like really good for like solo op. So you pull it down, and then it sort of like comes back, so you can then stack it or whatever. And it's just, I love it. It's just so. It eats electric though, like it's crazy. But
the cost wise, like
yeah. And it's just fucking huge. Like when I got it in there, I was just like, oh my God, I can't even look at it. Like it's so big.
It's got so like lighting dock as well, isn't it? Like with it's got like lights coming out the top.
Traffic light. I don't even know, traffic light sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's great. I got it like I got it for like such a steal, like, and I'm really happy with it. And the best thing about it is it's like the first piece of equipment I think I ever had where I've turned it on and went, oh shit, like this is too fast for me. Like I can't keep up with this. So that's something new.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are you allowed to tell people like where you got it from? Because I think didn't you get it from another brand or something? You got it from a brand, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know if it's. I don't know if it's all right to like sort of say. I don't really know. Yeah.
Should I just say? No, I'm joking.
I got it from Hobo Jack, who were changing their sort of production.
Yeah.
From not being in house to being out of house, I guess. So they were sort of getting rid of a load of stuff, and they had loads of stuff listed on eBay, and I was one of them. So yeah.
I suppose the market for people who can take that very specialist equipment is quite small. So if you can get in there and nab it and just try not to, hopefully you don't get in a bidding war, you can get some really cheap kit. The guy I interviewed last week, he got like a massive dual coater for these enormous screens for like under $1,000 or something, I think he said. Oh yeah,
I just caught up on that earlier actually. That was on Tom, was it from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just that was so interesting.
Yeah.
I felt so stupid. I was like, oh God, I'm going on after this guy. Like that guy is like super smart. It's like what he does, you know.
He is really book smart, but there is one thing that I kind of like want to go back and like, do you know when you like leave something and you're like, actually I didn't agree with that one point that you made, I need to go and talk to him about it, because he said he could argue that he's a hand print, like the prints that he makes are hand printed to anyone, and I'm like, oh, I found some new arguments against that now. Like, do you know when you like go back with hindsight? But I still don't think they can call themselves hand printed things, because it's automatic. Even if it's semi-automatic, like you're hand printing because you're touching the squeegee and it's down to your angles and pressure that you're dictating that.
Yeah.
Like, the only step closer to you hand printing it is you using your physical hand to push the ink through the mesh. But
I suppose where he's from, you know, like his sort of industry, there's so much digital print and so much clay print and stuff like that. So it's like what he does compared to that is actually very manual, I think. because you're not like just loading like not just loading a piece of paper in a machine, like somebody who doesn't actually know.
But Giclée is that, by the way. It is that. What? That is what a Giclée is.
But it sounds so posh, as Giclée.
It's not. Giclée is the French word for ink jets, like squirting ink. That is what Giclée is. So
you just take like all the romance out of that.
Well,
all the romance is gone.
That's what it is. You can all Google it now. Compared to other industries, but if you're comparing screen print to screen print, like nice prints, physically doing it with like their hands on the squeegee, and then them at their facility. That's, if you're comparing those two people, you're like, that's hand and that's automatic. So I don't know. Maybe I'll delve into it again if I get him on again. But have you disagreed with people you've listened to on like previous podcasts? You don't have to, like, not in a angry way. But just
yes, sometimes. But that's just.
But like, what kind of things are coming up that you disagree with?
It depends. I mean, I think the big. I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to get in trouble. I think one of the big things I disagree with is it's something you said.
No, go for it. I love this. I like. I say all sorts of shit.
I know you say that you only offer, Stanley Stella, and like if you want customers to go for, like, decent shirts and only offer this, but like I do disagree with that, because I think it's like, if you work like I do with bands, and a lot of them used to like Gildans or whatever, and it's really difficult to make people change from something that is like such a staple to like the entire culture of that kind of that group of people, if you're not like in it. So like, I mean, I get bands now who I can say like, do you want to try these? Or like, I print like a lot of long sleeves. Like, I'm just like, do you want to have these ones from Continental, which are just like nice? So I can get them at the same price now, because I've worked that out with Continental. They like cost the same. I think they actually cost a little bit less than what I'm getting the Gildans for. So it's like a no-brainer. And that's like, when you're actually in the sort of scene with those people, that's whenever you could actually change their perceptions. So I don't think, I've seen some stuff you've done where people are saying like, if you're an eco shop, you've got to do this, this and this, like it's really black and white. And like, I really don't think it is black and white. And, for me personally, like, I'd love to be like only print like Continental shirts, for example. But if I didn't just kind of fill in like all the various shades of grey areas, like I would have the customers there to try and change that perception, which is what I would really like to do, really. And that's kind of what I'm working to, I think.
I don't think mine is like my environmental ideas aren't as important to me at all as the way that the factories treat the workers. So like in the end, the environmental things are just going to be like, they're coming from Bangladesh, So I think by the time the shirts get here, that's actually like very minimal, and it's like down to the way that we print them. But I think it's actually the standards in the factories and things. Have you heard of what's happened with like Next Level?
No.
Okay, so in America, they've been called out a few times by these enormous brands where like they've tested where the cotton has come from and been created and like processed, and they kept finding it in these like districts in China. And like basically what China's done is they've got all the like Muslim community in a certain area, and they've like basically locked them in work camps, and like the factories that create the shirts in those areas, it's basically slave labor. It is slave labor. Then they can track the cotton by doing isotope testing, blah, blah, blah. And they could say, right, this came from that district. So I just feel like Next Level, Gildan, if they've had a history of really bad humanitarian cases, like just anything like that, And then it hasn't just been once, it's been again and again and again. And then they like...
And it's like a cover up sort of like, and a new sort of campaign to like wash over it and all that.
Yeah, the greenwashing is savage. I've actually stopped getting magazines. I've stopped writing for magazines because I'm like, I can't like go to the magazine and it's got Gildan on the front, Gildan on the back, Gildan fucking flyer in it. And I'm like, I don't want to be associated with this anymore. So I took myself out of it. So it's the humanitarian thing over the environmental, I think. And I get that it is like embedded in like, oh, this is a proper shirt because it's made of Gildan. It's like that slightly rough feel. I want it to be like that and emulate that. I wish they could like make ethically made shirts emulate all that kind of feel. Like, why not? They do vintage, they do distressed, they do all the bleached. Why not have like grungy band feel? Because I know they do ask for it. I've been asked for that. So it must be tricky.
So that's like the main reason why you're not one of the big reasons why you're not sort of stocking them and only doing Stanley and Stella then. Because I can track it. People, I had someone on the stall the other day, my market stall, like literally take one of my shirts, and like make it inside out, and they were photographing my labels and then quizzing me about like Bangladeshi factories, and I'm like, actually, the Bangladeshi factory that this was made in, and I can say that. So that's probably why. So that, and also it makes loads of other things as a knock-on really easy. So like my mock-ups are really easy because I've got all the colours all downloaded and there's loads and loads of knock-ons, and you get the best price. Like you said, you get a really good price with Continental now. I basically said to Rallowise, I don't want anything else. I just want the absolute best price for Stanley Stella, like beyond like what you'd normally give me. And then they did. So then stuff like that happens. That's something that people don't know either. Like, people don't know that you can kind of like just, you know, like if you're not getting caught in pricing for something, like go and ask your brand rep to give it to you. And if they don't give it to you, just say, okay, well, I'm just going to go there and get it instead.
Yeah.
And that's horrible to say. But sorry, to go back to what you're talking about. I mean, I'd love to be able to do that. And that is something that I do want to work towards. And I think like the more and more transparency that there is, that it will be easier. But like, there's still no way that I could do that right now.
That's fine. You've got an eye on it though, and it is something you want to do and you're working towards it. It's kind of like anything. It's very similar to being like going from like a vegetarian to a vegan or something like that. You're like, oh, okay. And then you start doing more and more research and you're like, oh shit, I agree with that as well. And you just become more and more honed in. And to other people, it seems quite extreme, but it just becomes part of your like moral choices. So then you can't go away from it. So it's tricky. Plus all my experiences with the shirts have been a bit garbagey, but there you go. That's it really. That's my Gildan chat again. I do really like the Stanley Stella shirts, but I use a lot of discharging and they don't discharge great. I use Magna Colours. So Magna Colours don't discharge well on Stanley Stella. That's something we've gone through as well. And that's your whole thing. So you have to work on that. So you went to Magna Colours recently, didn't you? You went on one there.
Yeah, it was a couple of months ago. It was a really good crack. I really enjoyed it. So I met some other cool print shops, and there was some of them like chatting to before. So it was really good, really good.
What kind of things were they showing you?
Well, we did like a lot of like the standard bases, and then we did some like special effects stuff, and so there was some stuff there I hadn't seen. It was just like really cool to like get to meet them, and then like since if I've had like a query or whatever, I can just like email them and not feel like that weird thing like oh, I'm sorry to bother you, but because they've been like, if you've got any questions, anything at all, just like email us.
So, they're really quick on it as well, aren't they? Like, did you see the little lab with the testing? they've got like a whole lab at the back where there's like 6 ladies.
No, I peeked in and I was just like, oh my God, this is where like all the magic is. But yeah, I didn't actually get in there.
Yeah, apparently that bit's like people send in stuff that hasn't worked and then they test it against their standards and they tell you like what you did wrong.
Oh really?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
There's a lot of information in those people. So yeah.
Well, they know so much.
Is there anything I know. Is there anything you're thinking of bringing in, like with the special effects, that you could like offer to your people now that you know?
I mean, there's some cool stuff, but like for my clients, I mean, they're not really after like a puff or like reflective or like stuff for wet t-shirt competitions. Do you know what I mean? Like changes colour when it gets wet or whatever.
Oh God, I hadn't thought that. That's the perfect use of wet reveal. Wet t-shirt competition.
Yeah. So like, you know, but the stuff they've got is like amazing. I didn't realize they had like this thermochromatic ink. So whenever you like put your hand on it changes colour. And I bought like the sample home to my son, and he like still plays with it sometimes. Like, it's magic. Like, go play with your rag. Yeah.
Do you have them in the studio with you and you've got to like distract them all the time? Like,
oh God, no. Like, I put a lot of discharge out, so I'm not gonna like bring them in. No. It's like all them fumes and stuff everywhere. It's gonna be dreadful. I mean, I wear like a mask whenever I'm printing anyway. But yeah, I did have to bring them in to like coat some screens the other week. And it was just, it's just chaos. Like just trying to coat 20 screens. My youngest one had just like learned how to crawl, and it was just like, oh no, don't like bang your head on that. Don't touch that, you know.
Yeah, I saw you made this absolutely, but I just loved the video of you like soaring up some word and just chucking it on the wall and making the light box and making it all registered. Like, where did that idea for the registration like system that you put in come from?
It came from the fact that my Vastex doesn't have any safety lights, or my Vastex exposure doesn't have any safety lights. So whenever you want to check anything, you can either have like exposing or nothing. So I just wanted to build something like dead cheap, and I just found like the cheapest LED thing that would fit on Amazon. I hate Amazon, but yeah, I got it from Amazon. And I mean, I've changed it, but now I've got like a 3-point like bracket system. So I just saw it in there, and then I just made my own reg sort of sheet and stuck it on the inside. I think I will actually get one printed out in vinyl and pull it on the front. But I've just been sort of testing it for now, and it's just dead handy. It's just something to make it quicker for me to do that. And then also because it's not on a table, it's just like on the wall, so it doesn't take up any useful space. Just literally like whack the screens up, take the one, stick it on the exposure unit, and then that's that. And it was like 55 quid. And I just thought, well, I'll just like show people they can do this, even though like I'm dreadful at all these things.
These are not dreadful. I think just having that skill, being able and like that little bit of knowledge of how to like saw and like screw in stuff to the walls and mount things, or just those tiny little DIY like essentials, so you're not relying on other people and like, you know, stocking up stuff. Like you can get so far and just build out loads of shit if you just know how to saw something yourself.
Totally.
So is it like a little, you're saying it's a 3-point bracket thing, is that a tri-lock or not?
I mean, I suppose it is a bit like a tri-lock. So I've got like 2 brackets. I did just have like a shelf because I didn't have any brackets at the time. I just wanted to see if it worked. But I've got like brackets at the bottom and then one at the side. So you literally just put your screen on and like slide to the left or whatever. And then your registration guide, you know, whenever you put your transparent on top of it, it is like in the same space every time. Nice. And I have been lent a tri-lock actually from a friend. So I will test that when I have a chance, but it's just been absolutely crazy, as it always is. So, yeah.
So do you still always have to do like certain types of micro adjustments on the press because there isn't like pins and brackets to push up against on your cruiser? Or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I don't know. I don't think the cruiser is like of a very good standard, really. Whenever I talk to other people of like different manual presses, I think like the cruiser is probably like not one of the best ones.
Really?
I mean, like I find that if you haven't got, especially with Waterbased, like you've got to get your registration spot on before you start printing a job, or it's just fucked. Like it's coming off, like there's no saving it. I've got a hammer, and that's like last resort. Like I just like tap the screens into place. I mean, you're not re-registering that job.
Do you have the arms? Do you have the arms alongside? You do, and it's like still. Okay.
Well, it doesn't come out of reg. It's just like because the screen just twists. So as soon as you like undo your micro reg, you've got two plates that are just like loosely floating on top of each other. So even if you just unlock them and then lock them again, it's different.
Yeah.
So it's literally like a really shit game, like trying to.
It's a game that no one's winning. What are the alternative setups then? What do they have?
Well, I know Darren in Squeeze Orange, he's got a what's it called? Riley Hopkins. It seems to be he says like registering's a dream on that. And then like the Caereinion's a lot better. It's just whenever I've explained how like the cruiser is to people who've got like Caereinion who've never had a cruiser, they're like, oh my god, that sounds dreadful. And I'm like, yeah, I just thought that this was like a normal standard sort of thing. I mean, I can reg really quickly now on the cruiser because I've had it for years.
But imagine how quickly you could get on a Caereinion. I didn't know that was a thing. You're literally just like telling me now. So now I'm thinking, I thought this was life, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's
apparently it's not life. Apparently there are other ways that are a bit easier. So
there you go. Okay. Now I'm looking at it thinking maybe I did spend a bit long registering it. Anyway, who knows? So like, do you know how a little for the like last year or so being in England and stuff, we've been told like, okay, you're going to go into a recession. All the businesses are going to dry up. Loads of businesses are going to fail. And it's like doom, 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 doom. Like, are you feeling that with your customers and your customer base, or is that having like knock-on effects for you?
No, not really. I mean, things are costing me more money. I've luckily been kind of like locked into an energy price that I moved into the unit, which was like when I spoke to you, I think, so about a year ago, cool. So it's fine. Sorry, by the way, if you can hear my kids in the background. It's like crime shit show time. That's what I have to call it.
The shit show hour or something.
Crime shit show time, yeah. It's like after dinner, bath time, bedtime, which I'm really lucky to like get out of. It's amazing. Thank you. What was I saying?
Just like
that. The price.
So we're told the economy's going. Yeah.
I mean, I think I did put up my prices like a little bit. Just for like inks and stuff have went up. And it does seem every time I buy anything, it's like more expensive. But I think that like every month I'm kind of like, doing all right. Yeah. So but yeah, I don't think it's really affected people. Whenever you say like, oh, this is cost an extra 30p now or an extra 50p or whatever, everybody just sucks it up because they know that like what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
it's just how things are now.
Do you think that's something we could say as like self-employed people, because we're not like on like fixed income, because our income like fluctuates up and down, so we're always suffering anyway, so we might as well suffer a little bit more here, and then we know that we can like take on some more jobs and increase our income if we really were up against it. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been so busy since I've come back, so I've not really noticed. I didn't know. So it's like my accountant said that we're going maybe 6 months ago, they said, no, even 4 months ago, they said, look, we're going into a depression. You've got that's a recession. I think it's like 4 little mini recessions at once. I mean, straight after each other, it becomes depression. I was like, doesn't seem like it. Like, but it seemed like still getting inquiries, still getting orders. Mm-hmm. The energy isn't really affecting me that much because I'm not printing as much as I used to. So maybe that's stabilized, but I'm not feeling it. I don't like how all the media just constantly booms that at people, because then it has a spiral effect, doesn't it? Because the economy is about moving money around.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to see that you're not like quite affected by it, but there is like one technological thing that I think is getting into your very, very specific niche, which is like AI art in the like kind of metal band artwork, because it's a really easy thing to like generate those kind of like that style of design. Have you seen any come through yet?
I think I got one. And
it's like a new £5 note. Like,
I didn't know for sure if it was AI, but it looked pretty AI to me. And I had an artist I worked with message me being like, oh, that artwork is so cool, like who did it? And I was just like, I didn't want to be like, I think it's AI.
Midjourney did it.
I was just like, oh, I don't know, you have to like ask the band. They're like, oh, it's so cool, like it's so whatever. And I was like, it's just a tool that people are gonna use. The AI thing's just, it's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know what the world's gonna look like in 100 years. But nobody's gonna be able to do anything because we've all like outsourced all those jobs to like AI, and nobody will know how to do like basic things anymore.
Yeah.
Which is basically what we've done already to ourselves. You know, we're just destroying ourselves more and more and more. So I
think it's true. Like I was listening to such a geek. I listened to TED Talks, and she was talking about people learning about computers now because they've been brought up on like very visual things. They actually don't know much of the back end. So if you ask them to like actually code something, they don't have to, so they don't bother knowing how to do it. So they're incredibly difficult to teach. And what they want is little icons and pictures. And that's how quickly their brain works. They can't sit there and read a manual and like scripts and, you know, journeys like that, like with written words, because they just have to have it all as icons and now, and they can't concentrate, and their concentration span is just reduced. So,
oh God, I feel like that now, like just how much technology's just impacted our life. Like, I drive myself bored. Me, like my attention span is so short now. It's like I'll be in the workshop and, you know, it's only me there. I'm the only person there doing shit. So, but it's like, I'll be like, oh, I need like a pen. There's a pen over there. So I'll go to get a pen, but then I'll see something else. I'll be like, oh shit, that doesn't go there. And then I'll see something else. And it's literally just like, and then eventually after about 20 minutes, I'll end up back to where I was. I'm like, fucking hell, I haven't even done that thing. I'm just like, I am driving myself mad. Like, I just, why can't I just like focus anymore? Like, it's stressful.
Yeah, it's been highlighted to me by me and she saw me trying to paint a wall the other day. This enormous fucking wall, and I was painting it. It's like fucking hell. So I just did one corner and I just couldn't do it. Had to go to the other corner as if that bit of the wall is better. Like there's a better bit of wall. Started painting that. Then I thought maybe I should do the edges. Like that's more fun. To me, like if you videoed that as like a time lapse or something, it would be like, what the fuck is she doing? Like there's no process involved at all. It's just buzzing around like a little bee. But I was thinking about like, there's obviously the takeover jobs thing and stuff, but I think people are going to start to crave like real life experiences again. And that's, like interaction and being in a crowd and being with actual people instead of being at home with their weird little headsets on. So that's where it feeds into your industry again, like where people want to go and see live music and get the real t-shirt and all that type of thing. So
Oh yeah, I mean it just happens time and time again, doesn't it? I mean, like everybody used to have like MP3 players, and now just like the vinyl is so big. Like you can't get a vinyl pressed for your band in like 6 months, 9 months or something. Like they're just absolutely rammed the press and blanks because people just crave, you know, physical objects. They just do. And so yeah, I think it'll always be a thing. People of like art and the art of making a t-shirt, people just love it. Yeah. You know, that's why I mean like DTF or whatever can just do one, because it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's never going to be the same, you know?
Sarah says DTF get in the bin. Yeah, but your people aren't coming. Yeah, your people aren't coming to you and go, "Oh, can I have that cheaper?" Because they're not trying to nail you down on price. They're trying to get your quality, aren't they? So,
well, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, even if a transfer could emulate water-based, I mean, discharge and all that, I don't think it's just not possible because it's a transfer. It's always going to be a transfer. So, yeah. I did see like one cool thing, or loads of cool things, because your whole Instagram is like really high-end detailed stuff. But what was this process you did with the like 2 color blended inks image? And I looked at it, I was like, fucking hell, that looks nice. It was, I asked you about it as well. It was like incredibly, like, it went from light into the shirt, and it was like really, really faint and subtle. I think you used greys and things in it.
that was the one I think was an AI, funny enough.
Right.
It was like almost like a butterfly, sort of like with spines and stuff. So I did it with like 2 color discharge. So rather than doing like an underbase, so usually with something like that you do like an underbase, wouldn't you? And then you do like a grey on top. But with the discharge from just like that, what I do is I do the grey on the bottom and then the highlight on the top. And so, you know, the parts of the image where your white is like 100% white, like K100 or whatever, you're knocking the grey out. And then you're just sort of like looking at the values and the percentages and seeing where they're kind of mixing. So whenever you're actually printing it on top of each other, you're printing it wet and wet. So you can't see what it's going to look like. But that grey and that white is actually mixing together like on the shirt. And when it comes out of the dryer, it just looks magic. It just looks like really, really nicely blended. And I've done it like, I've done it with like a couple of jobs before. I had somebody do steps for me a long time ago for a couple of jobs like this. And I just always thought like they just look great. And so I just tried it myself. I've been doing like a lot more steps this year. So I just tried it myself and it came out like beautiful. And I was like, I'm going to post this like a million times on Instagram because I love it.
Well, I saw it, I think that's like an important step that people do miss when they're screen printing. They're trying to like emulate what's on screen, but it's like you're the artist here. You do need to kind of doctor and edit the image before it gets to the films. It's not like trying to make the film match the artwork. You need to do things like get to like the really pure 100% and that type of thing. I think it's important.
I mean, that's something I'm like really started to like learn this year, is to actually just like trust myself a bit whenever it comes to like my separations, and kind of like just doing more and more, you know, you just get more idea of how the inks are going to react on press, how the stuff's going to react together, and also just about how much you can change those separations on press. You know, if you like treble hit an underbase instead of double hit it, you know, you're going to get a totally different result for your colours on top. You know, I do a lot of discharge underbase. You're going to get differently if you flash that underbase than if you don't flash it. And you know, just like playing around with stuff to get how you want it to. I mean, like the steps really aren't like the be all and end all. I mean, you've got to get like all your detail out. So like I'm always like looking like, oh well, you know, if it's something that's like less than 5%, I know that it's probably not gonna or might not come out on my screen. So but I don't really like do like adjustment curves or anything in Photoshop at the moment, because I know I can adjust it by by hand. So it's been quite cool. Like I've really enjoyed doing all that stuff.
That is the reason why you can't really farm it out. Because if you're really trying to control the entire process, like you said, you don't know what their ideas were when they were doing the separations. So. Yeah,
but then so I've got a job recently where my headphones on the side. A job recently where I tried 2 steps for it, and I tried it, and it just looked like total dog shit. Do you know what I mean? Like it looked really awful. So I did get like John at Custom Steps or whatever to do it. Yeah. But it is going to be a nightmare because it's like CMYK on a discharge underbase, which I've never done before. And then like a spot colour. So,
God.
But we'll get there.
Why has he gone for CMYK? That seems a bit unusual nowadays because everyone's just gone into sim process, haven't they? But
there were just so many colours in it. But I think he just thought the best way to get all those colours is CMYK.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to. Maybe I'll get him on and ask him things like, "Why would you ever go for CMYK instead of that?"
He's super. He is like he knows his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. Are you? I think you said one thing. Like I think you got to go to printwear, and then you were sat down. I'm so envious, by the way, because I really wanted to go to that. But I think I was at
it was so much fun.
Thing. Don't. I'm so pissed off. I didn't get to go.
I'm sorry.
And then you said you kind of got like a masterclass on separation studio. Like what kind of things were you chatting about there? That is so geeky, by the way. Like you're out for dinner and someone's bought their laptop and they're like, what you need to know about separations.
It's Alex, like he's just like attached to his laptop. Like I don't know, mine just works so much. So it was that same John I'm talking about that I eventually got John to do. Because I was saying I was having like a problem doing it, and then he just said, "Do you have the file there?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Right, send it over."
Oh my god!
Doing live demo. Eating our pizzas, drinking our wine, and he's like, "Yeah, so this is how it goes." And it was super nerdy. It was brilliant. We were all like, "Wow, this is like the best dinner ever."
Yeah, so, they should definitely make those printwear things. Like I think it's gone downhill recently. Like it's fucking boring now. It's just DTF. They've taken the fashion show out. That was a travesty. Like what else is there? There's just like the Screen Print World stand, which is the only thing about screen printing, and everything else is it's not for us. We need like, do you know, like in America they've got these huge conventions and they have like parties on boats and shit. That's what we need. We need a bit of American to come over, I think. Or just instead.
I didn't really look at that much stuff. I can't even remember what I did look at. I did get some freebies. I got a nice pair of socks as a freebie. But yeah, I just went for a jolly, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was so good. It was so good. And I met Half and like, the old Upton's lads and stuff, and and it was just and the rest, and it was just so fun. Pav is just like a force of nature.
I know, yeah. He's
just like, he shouldn't exist.
What was his parents like? That's what I want to know. Like, does he have siblings?
Oh, he's got so many stories about them too. He's just like, he's brilliant. My face hurt from laughing at him and the incredible amount of like deeply inappropriate things he said. Right. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. First thing he said to me was, I'm pretty sure he said it, like, you're much shorter than you look on the telly or something, like, look on YouTube. I was like, all right. I'm like a little dumpy version in real life, so just expect that if you meet me, because you're really tall, aren't you? Like, no?
I'm like 5'7".
That's pretty tall. I'm like 5'3", so yeah.
Oh, that was really condescending.
Well, apparently that suits because I'm fucking midget. Apparently, I know. Yeah, whatever. What do you think is next? Because you got the dryer, so now you can't keep up with the dryer if it's on full bore. are you eyeing up an auto, and like what changes would you have to make, or are you just like, no, I'm happy here for a bit? Or
no, I'm going to get an auto hopefully in the next couple of months. Cool. So I have been speaking to like everybody about it, and it's amazing how once somebody knows that you're looking for an auto, like everybody knows you're looking for an auto. So I'm going to see one in the next couple of weeks, actually. So it's like a private sale. I'm not saying for definite I'll get it, but I'm going to go see it and have a chat. So, and then there's one I'm looking at with like screen print wall as well. But and then there were some other ones I was looking at, but it's just a bit crazy, really.
Is it like a big financial gamble, or you're pretty certain that you've got it in the bag that way, or is it a risk at all? Oh, yeah. No,
I mean, I don't think it's a risk. I think like for so long I've been like, am I doing enough work? Can I justify it all? Blah, 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 like all this stuff. And what it boils down to is like, do you want to carry on printing by hand, or do you not want to? And I don't want to. I don't want to carry on printing by hand because it absolutely destroys your body. I've seen so many manual screen printers that are like, damage their hands, carpal tunnel, shoulders, backs, whatever. Like, I mean, like a lot of the problems I had when I was pregnant was, I had to go to physio every 2 weeks just to help me walk. And that was because of like, stomach muscles and like screen printing. And apparently I've got very strong stomach muscles, but like all that overworking the same muscles over and over again, it's just not good. Like, and to be honest, I had a bit of a moment when I was like pregnant, like, I just had my kid and I was just like, I don't think I'm going to go back and do it. I don't think I'm going to do like screen printing anymore. Because I knew that I was looking at either investing a large sum of money into automating, which I felt was unfair on my family to do that. And I could probably just go get another job and earn more money and be less stressed than I always am. So, but in the end, I just love it. Like, I just love it. I love my job. Like, I love going in, sticking on some music and like, so yeah, for the first time I started seriously considering an auto, and that's what I'm looking at. I haven't got a massive amount of space, but I obviously want to get a really big auto. So that's the issue I've got, really. I'm looking at an 810 Sportsman M&R, just because I think that I need 8 colours probably with like a flash. And
because 8 colours hardly ever 8 colours, is it? It's more like 6 with all the
exactly
waiting around for the heat.
So I mean, I could get like a 6/8, but I just think I'd like instantly regret it. And I bought enough equipment in the past that I've instantly regretted. To know that whenever you've got an inkling about whether you think something's going to be enough or not, it's probably not going to be enough. So that's what I'd like to get. It's just kind of like, feeling like, is it actually going to fit? And like, how am I actually going to do shit in here once everything's in? Because the dryer does take up like quite a lot of room. But I kind of might see if there's like another unit going. I know that somebody's moving out of a unit in my area soon, so I might take that on, or see if I can like put a big trailer or something like in the car park to use as sort of like a satellite, because you have something like that, don't you?
My god, if you've ever come here, I think we're on number 8. What are they called again? Containers. Just fucking containers piled on top of the containers, put the containers to the side. Fuck it, that is the way to go. They were fucking cheap, but now before COVID, like you could get them next day and they were really, really cheap, but I haven't bought one since. I heard they went up in value a lot.
I think I just need to like broach that with my landlord, who is no doubt going to say no. So then I'm like, should I just get one?
Yeah, sod it. I don't ask landlords for shit. I just got a new premises and I ripped down the ceiling, ripped out the floors, put in a new wall. Don't ask permission. Don't ask permission. Because another person asked, they put in planning for a frigging petition wall and then it got denied and then they couldn't have that shop anymore. It's like, don't ask permission with bureaucrats who sit in places. But I don't know what your landlord's like, but mine's definitely not coming around anytime soon.
My landlords are just like, it's Powys County Council, and so I still don't have a hole in the wall for my exhaust, because whenever I took on the unit and I had this whole, I need to put a hole in the wall for an exhaust thing that took like ages. And at the end of the day, I was like, look, I need to know, like, I need to like move in, like, you know, I want to get this on the go. I just need to know whether I can do it or not. And they're like, well, we can't actually tell you whether we can do it or not because we don't have anybody in the job. And I'm like, thank you so much. That was so helpful. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm still like sticking out the window, but when I get the auto in and I get the dryer like finally situated where it's going to be for like the rest of time, because it's not coming out there because it was so fucking stressful getting it in. I'm just going to put a hole through something.
By the way, if you need me to come and vandalise your property with a balaclava on and a big fucking sledgehammer, I'll put the hole in the wall for you. I feel like we just need to do each other's things. Like, yeah. If you're finding it difficult to get around some bureaucracy, just vandalise it until it happens.
This is the thing. I mean, the whole place is just, I mean, it's not dreadful, but like the doors, and there's holes in the doors and everything. It's just like, why can't I not just cut like a slightly bigger hole around this hole to like put this thing out? Ridiculous. But anyway, that's just what it's like. Yeah, I think I just need to do now, ask forgiveness later and all that. But the whole getting an auto thing is like pretty scary. I mean, you said that you're getting a new business premises, or
we got a shop for Blind Maggot. So we've been renovating it for the last month. Like I've been, if you look at my Instagram, I haven't posted anything. It's just podcasts. It's so fucking lazy. I'm not actually lazy. I'm videoing an absolute ton of shit, but we're just putting it out all at once. But yeah, I just don't care. What are they going to do? Tell me to put it back. They're never going to come and check. No. Also, I don't give a shit if they do. My uncle just won, like, so he's been basically hiding in a shed in the middle of the countryside for like 5 years. And then he just built this house without planning. And it's like a 6-bed house, just him. He can't even go up the stairs anymore because he's like, he's got like bad knees and stuff. So he's just built this enormous house on this like immaculate piece of land. And he's like selling it for 2.5 million now. It's like, what? That's because he hid from the council, kept his head down, dodged all the planning and just fucking won. So that's the kind of story that I want to emulate. They hate him now, obviously, but
yeah,
keep your head down. Yeah, that's my motto. I'm gonna like tattoo that on myself. Just my give a fucks are out the window, I'm afraid.
I like it.
Wait, can I ask? I know you're a very nice person, but do you have an unpopular opinion apart from my thing about Stylist Stella in the industry?
I don't know. I'm not nice. I'm probably like, I don't know. I kind of do. I don't want to like upset anybody.
No one's going to be upset.
They
can come on and
I think a lot of people probably agree with me, but I think that like a lot of the, the standard companies that sell stuff, I don't know what they're like in America, but in the UK, I just feel like so many of them just do not have like any of your best interests at heart. And I've just been dicked around recently, and it's really annoying. Like it's talking about an auto. I was kind of I was kind of told about an auto that may or may not be coming up, but to kind of keep it on the hush hush from somebody. And then I found out that another screen printer, I know a friend who like told the same thing. And I'm just like, why? Like, when was he going to find out? Do you know what I mean? And so like I was raging, he was raging. Do you know what I mean? And there's just a lot of that. And I just don't see why this old sort of like this old screen printing guard of all these sort of like old white men who would just like sell you their granny's shoes for a fiver sort of thing. Like I just don't understand. Like
I've never heard that one
why?
before. Selling you their granny shoes for a fiver.
You know what I mean? Like,
I've never heard that.
They'd sell the shoes off their fucking granny's feet if they thought they could make a fiver from them. Do you know what I mean? Just because like they're just interested in the sale, like the hunt of the sale. And I just don't get it. I don't think that many. There's just definitely a divide. Like us and them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've gone up against it, not in the UK recently, but went up against it in America. It was very distinct, and I had to put my foot down.
Really?
So, yeah, because they don't think we talk to each other. Like the industry, those like the old white men that you just said, and I know that's like a little bit, but they are. Basically, the industry, the heads of all these companies, the huge conglomerates, they don't realize that like our generation of screen printers are in chats with each other. We're like talking to each other on a daily basis. We're like Instagram each other. So they don't know that I can get the information off that other printer of like how much you're paying them for something. Yeah. And then, you're offering me, there's no budget for me, but there is for them.
Yeah.
You know? And I know exactly how much this other like printer's getting paid. And I'm like, fuck that. I'll do my own thing. Totally yeah.
So like I got offered a price for an auto from a company, but I knew that they'd actually got 2 autos at the same time from another company, and I knew how much they paid for them, and then I also know how much the guy who got the other one paid for them. So I'm looking at it being like, you're having a friggin' laugh if you think that I'm paying that. Do you know what I mean? But that's what it is. Like, we all talk to each other. It is really important to talk to each other, because like we're literally the only people who's got each other's backs. Like they don't give a shit. They literally don't give a shit. I mean, I'm not painting them all with the same brush, because some of them are, you know, great. I've had some really great experiences recently. But it's just who you put your trust in, and maybe some people don't care, but I care. Like I get really affected if I think that somebody's like dicked me over. Like I turn into the most disagreeable person. Oh my God. And I just don't stop. I don't stop until like my revenge has been exacted.
I can't wait to see what your kids are going to be like at the school gates. And you're like, right, which one was it? Like, who hit you? Or like, what did you say to my kid? Oh, yeah.
I just hate it. I hate when people are just messed about. And if I feel like I've been messed about, the
hammer's coming down. Okay. Yeah. But it does piss you off. And well, everyone should know that we all chat to each other, so you can't get us anywhere. Yeah. But also, if you're a printer who is listening to this and you don't have print buddies, get some print buddies as soon as possible. All you have to do is just reach out to the people whose artwork and like stuff you like and that you can see are doing similar things to you. Because we're all having shared experiences. We're all feeling the same, literally the same things. Sometimes we've got the same customers and we've got the same suppliers and everything. So,
totally. Yeah. I mean, I think what I'd really like to get rid of is like this phrase, like, I hope you don't mind me asking, if you don't mind me asking, it's just like, I think that like we all know that we all ask each other everything. And if somebody doesn't want to answer your question, well then, you know, they're not going to, but most screen printers are going to tell you like what it is they're using, where they got it from, how much they paid for it. Like,
And if they're Alex, they'll get their laptop out and give you a masterclass as well at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think there's so many people are like so open, and it's great. It's the only way, like, if we're like a collective, it's the only way to
unionizing.
To beat the bastards. Like, it really is. It really is. Like, you know, whenever some people say to me, like, how much are you paying for that? I'd be like, oh, we'll send you my entire price list, like, or, you know, this is how much I paid. They're like, oh my God, I'm paying like way more than that. I'm like, you know, you go back to them and tell them to sort it out, or, you know, you go ask your rep for 5% off, or, you know, you shouldn't be paying that. Just like, you know, it's hard enough, like, and there's enough work out there for everybody. So I think it just doesn't really make any sense to not be like helpful to each other, you know?
Yeah. So. I know. Yeah. But that's something you don't know until you've got the buddies. You actually think you're competing, and then you go, oh, actually, there is what you said, like, there is more than enough work going around. Like, so say if you weren't in the like very specialized niche that you are, like, what other, like, how would you go about attracting customers? Or is it just something you haven't really had to do because you go off your reputation quite a lot, don't you? So.
Oh, I don't know really, because I'm utterly shit at things like that. You know, organisation, emails, and like just literally all my emails start with, "Oh, sorry, it take me so long to get back to you." I'm really slammed at the moment, and that's not a lie. But
do you know you can build that in so you don't have to rewrite it every time, like your signature? You can just be like, hey, sorry, it's just a thing, it's an auto reply.
I know you're gonna have to like tell me how to do that, because I've been like trying to figure out how to do it, but I'm always just get distracted by something else I've got to do, because my mind is just total chaos. I wish I was like a tablet or something I could take just to keep me on like just like to just put blinkers up, so I just like focus on like one task at a time. But I don't know what else I'd do really. I'd probably just try and, like, if I was a shop trying to attract business now without much of a reputation, I'd probably just try and just go like super Instagram heavy and social media heavy, and probably use like TikTok and stuff, which I don't have and don't understand, and scares me every time I go on it. So I'm like, why am I playing? I can't make it stop. So I just don't use it. But
would you go like hyper into a niche again? Like, would you go like right down deep into like music, or would you? Do you think that's like helped you out, being like the person that people turn to for that? Yeah,
I love working with bands. I love it. They're just so dead on, and, you know, easy to work with. You know, they're not coming to me being like, oh, this has to be like a Pantone, like 208 or whatever, and like measuring it against their Pantone book whenever they're getting it. You know, they know.
They haven't got a fucking Pantone book, by the way. Those things cost like 400 quid. If you got one of those, you don't need me. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just really like how they're so nice. They're so grateful whenever they get like a good product, and you know, it helps them at their shows and stuff. And yeah, you know, I don't think there's anybody else I'd rather work with, to be honest. Like, you know, brands, nah. Like I do like some stuff for a brand, and it's all right, you know.
Yeah.
But musicians, big prints, nice, interesting designs, like I don't really know what else I'd rather do.
Yeah,
I'm happy doing what I do.
What is this job that you were going to go do? Because I think everyone who's been self-employed has like done a little side glance at someone else's. Like, we've looked at what other people are making. We're like, God, well, that sounds like a lot, but you're sacrificing a lot as well, aren't you? To go and be someone's employee.
Oh, I mean, what I was thinking of doing. I'd actually started like a coding course. Weirdly, It was like so like not me.
No, that sounds really interesting. But
I did like some like building websites from scratch, and it was really good. Like, I enjoyed doing it, but then whenever I'd done it, I was like, this is boring as shit. Like, this is really boring. Like, imagine this is your job every day. And then the whole ChatGPT thing came out, and I'm like, well, this is all pointless, because you can just ask it to do it for you, you know. But it was just something I did whenever I just had when I just had Rory. So I didn't really waste too much time on it, but I did just think, maybe if I just did something else, I'd earn more money and I'd have more like family time and it'd be less stressed, but it would be boring.
I think I can't wait for you to get the auto, actually, because in your circumstances and stuff, when you're laying down like 6 colours, all 6 heads go down at once, and you're like, oh my God. And then you're just peeling the shirt off and you're like, fucking hell. That would have taken me like 4 hours. I'm like excited for you. It's going to be like mega Christmas, like all together, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a job to run like this week, and I'm really not looking forward to it. It's like 150 shirts, and it's now 5 colours because I thought that I could discharge the shirts, but I can't. So that's that. So it's got to be underbased now. So it's 5 colours, and it's just like an 18-inch, like 13 by 18 inch screen print, and I've got to do it like HSA based. I'm just like, kill me. And it's got sleeves. And I'm just like, oh my God. I did think about like outsource it for a while just because of how much I didn't want to do it. But I'm just like, no, I'm going to do it. It'll look good, whatever. And then I've got this other like 6 colour CMYK job on an underbase. And I'm just like, that would also be great to have an auto for. But I'll get there. No, I think for so long it took me a really long time to decide to get one because I just didn't think that I was running a proper business. Like even now I'm like,
you're still like imposter syndrome somehow, even though you're
totally
fucking brilliant printer.
Just all the time. I'm just like, I just don't. Yeah, it's just how it is. Imposter syndrome, I guess. But just define it to yourself. But I think I just gotta do it, and that's what's really changed a lot. I think recently, just kind of like being like just fucking spend the money, get the thing. I always used to try and like pinch pennies and like not spend here and there. But now I'm just like, if it makes my life like 0.01% easier, like I'm just gonna buy it. Because this is what I want to do, and in order to make it successful, I've got to make my life easier. So I mean, actually today I've been looking at sort of shop management software because I have been running everything on like ClickUp, which is a bit like Monday.
What are you leading towards? Because they're basically all merging into one big blob at the moment with like the capability. They're even taking your payments. Like it's not down to, they set their own percentages on the payments now. Like that.
I don't like that. That seems crazy.
No one likes it, but that's
Printavo, isn't it?
It's all of them. Yeah, they're all going to do it, and new ones that are coming onto the market are doing it. Like I get it, but it's also like you used to be able to hack. So you used to go in and do like a torrent for Illustrator and then just have it forever. And now we all have to pay. I didn't do that. Whatever. Everyone does it. I think I got a CD. I didn't torrent Illustrator. Anyway, and now all software is monthly. That's just the way it's gone because they've realised, everyone's just sharing it. Yeah, because we can fucking send data really easily. But the monthly payments and overheads is a big thing to get used to.
It's crazy because do you use anything at the moment, or do you have to if you're not doing so much printing?
We're trialing one for this Canadian company at the moment. So they basically gave it to us for free and they're like, break it. But I've tried to be onboarded with Printavo, but it's the weirdest experience of your life. It's like, really? It's like going into a room with loads of drones, like robots. And then you're like, hi, I'd like to try this. And then one walks up to you and goes, hi, this is the procedure. And they like bring you through and you're like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. And then they like forget that they've ever spoken to you before. And then a new little drone walks up to you and tells you the same shit. And you're like, no, that still doesn't work. And they just kept doing that. And I kept getting to like one little barrier. And I'm like, I just want to try it out. So I just gave up on them. And they get absolutely slated on all the groups, even the people who are embedded with them, like Floodway. Do you know Floodway? Corey from Floodway.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's been using them for years, but every time I go on his stories, even his private stories, his friend stories, it's always like Printaro's dead. Printaro died. I told Printaro about this book, and I'm like, I don't want to tap into that.
That's it. I mean, like I was talking briefly to Mikey earlier from Vino, and he was saying that they use Printavo, and I had a look at it, but it's just like it's $100 a month, and you can only send like 20 invoices. Like what? Like so I'm gonna have to spend $200 a month just so I can send more than 20 invoices a month. Like that's a lot. Like I just want to try and make it. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind spending the money if the value is there, but I don't think that there is enough value there for me on my own. You know, I'd rather just carry on doing what I'm doing, I think. And then I had a look at some other ones. So I had a look at like YoPrint, and then I know Alex uses Deco Network, which he loved, and he gave me a walkthrough around that, and that was great as well. But it's, you know, it's not cheap. Probably not. It wouldn't give me enough value.
Yeah.
For the price
your own
of the
now. No, not now. But
hey, ChatGPT, please make me basically a copy of Printavo.
You can put in other people's. There's things like I'm not going to tell you which website to put in, but there is a printer in the UK who has a really good quote builder on their page. Like, it's sick. Everyone wants it. Now you can take their URL, put it into a ChatGPT kind of like AI website builder, and you can just emulate it. And then you can just take their logo out if you want and just put yours in, because it's just Figma. It's just like a backbone structure of code, and then drag and drop things. So if you want your, you know, t-shirt, the quantities of t-shirts to add up to this, they've already programmed that in, so you can just nick it. So maybe, I'm not even joking, maybe we can just all nick the best bits from the sites that we want. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they've got like backdoors that you can't hack into or something, but.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think that's a bit crazy, isn't it? I would feel really bad doing that. I wouldn't do it. I think I'd feel really, really bad.
You spend $200 a month to get your proper Printavo. I don't know.
I've got like my own systems. It's just they take a while. So I've got like an online calculator that was built for me by my really clever bass player, who did it for me in like an hour, and it's great. So, you know, it's dead handy for me to just like price up in that. But obviously it's not so easy for people to get a quote. Because they actually have to email me, and then I actually have to reply. In a reasonable time scale, which doesn't always happen. So yeah, but to be honest, I couldn't like take on any more work anyway. So I mean, my website is still just like basically a landing page, and it has no prices on it, and I will do it at some point. It's not like the top of my priorities right now. Priorities right now are just like get an auto, get through the work, and then hopefully have more time when I've got the auto to work on stuff like that, to be able to work with more people. So. But no, I'll not be getting Printavo because I'm not paying $200 a month just so I can send more than 20 invoices. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the really real value with the softwares that you can't emulate is the integrations with like really boring shit, like the couriers and the invoicing software and QuickBooks and all that kind of stuff. That is stuff that I do pay for. I mean, I pay attention to and I value and I would invest in. But
yeah, I mean, you can. I think boring. You can. I'm sure that you can actually do that, can't you? You can do all that stuff through Printavo or whatever.
Yeah, I know. There are better ones coming out though, I think, from just from what I'm seeing. Anyway,
well, I will hang fire I won't hang fire for now.
It's only going to be available in Canada for a bit until they figure out like currencies, which is always the shit. Because that's really why Printavo isn't useful for British people. It's because you haven't got like all the wholesalers integrations. So as far as I know, whereas they've just got like type in a GD001 or whatever, and then they've got like the up-to-date things and ordering processes, which you haven't even got. You can't even tap into that in the UK.
Well, I think that you can do that with Deco Network. But it's like 150 a month, I think. If I was doing like a bit more work, I think it would probably be worth it, really. But yeah, I do.
Would you rather pay like that kind of money, or would you rather have somebody come in and do admin once a week, like a person?
Probably pay the money. That's stressful.
No, it's not, isn't it? I think it's brilliant. I think it's like honest, because you want flexibility. Because like, say if something happens, you just want to be able to walk out or get distracted by your pen on the other side of the room. You don't have to monitor someone else.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm just trying to make my shop work with just me, because like I say all the time, like my life is just absolute chaos with like a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And then like my husband was away all last month in America on tour. So like trying to like run the business and like look after the kids. And then there were all the fucking bank holidays, which were just like a total plague on my life. No one needs
3, do they, in 1 month?
Yeah, and like the Monday is like a day that my 2 kids are in childcare, and then there was like another holiday where the other one wasn't in like school, and it was just like, it was just dreadful. It's not that I don't like looking after my own kids. Of course I do. I love them, but not when I'm supposed to be doing work, and also getting more and more behind from work because of like somebody's getting fucking crowned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I don't care.
I was talking to an American while that was happening, and he was like, "Aren't you excited?" I was like, "No." We're like the least patriotic. You're more patriotic about the royals than we are. Like, anyway.
So there's all that. Like, I just don't think. I think because the kids are so young, and they're not like in childcare all the time, and we are trying to balance like our businesses with having them and not shoving them like into childcare, we want to spend like as much time with them as we can while they're this young. So it's always like really chaotic. But I'm trying, like, bringing somebody else into that would be difficult. Like, my husband was away all last month, but actually doesn't have a lot of work this month, so he can actually help me out, and I can kind of catch up. But having somebody rely on me as like a boss, which is a laughable term from my mouth, is oh my god. So, I think I just prefer to get everything down first. There's so many processes that I'm working on, like just make them perfect at the moment. And once they're all perfect, I feel like then that would be the right time to bring somebody in, maybe. And, ideally what I'd really like to do in the future is to have, to do print and ship for bands, so to stock their stuff and have somebody run like a mail order sort of thing. But like
that seems to work for PriorPress. I can never actually pronounce that. PriorPress Phil, like he's built his whole thing on being the fulfillment person, because that makes you really sticky, doesn't it? Because you're not going to have your fulfillment for shirts over here and someone else printing them. You're going to go all in with that one person. So I mean, there's not a lot of like really, there's not a lot of places in the UK doing it for sort of underground sort of bands. So I would really like to do that. And I mean, there are some places that do it, but they like charge such a huge amount of money, and I just feel like it's actually not a great return for bands. And then on the other hand, they're having to do it themselves, and they're not kind of able to do it as effectively. So I'd kind of like to meet somewhere in the middle of those two, like offer
offer a good service and you know, be able to keep things like stocked and for them. But like, hell, if I'm running that, there's not a chance in hell. Like, I am not dealing with that. Definitely have somebody who is just up for that. I used to do that, and I didn't enjoy it, and I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore. So the plan is to kind of get to that point and get somebody else to do it, because I think it, you know, it could work with like my clients. So
I can't see why not, because the big places that you might be talking about, like, I don't know, Awesome Merch or something, are they trusted now? Like, are you just another order number, and they don't have your like best intentions at heart? So I
don't even know if those guys did fulfillment.
Fucking who knows? But big places, you know, like where you can't actually talk to someone, and if they've turned the comments off, you're not gonna trust them with your t-shirts and like getting in contact with them. So
so I think if you're like a band or your client or whatever, and they need to know that where they're getting the shirts printed, you know, you actually it needs to be good. Like, they need to like have faith in the business that they're going to do a good job printing the shirts and sending it out to their client. Otherwise, like, what's the point? Like, I wouldn't have somebody else do that for me. Like, no way.
Yeah, because like, if you're a band and you didn't know much about screen printing, you might accidentally think that someone's screen print. They might sell you that they're screen printing your shirts because they have screen printing capabilities. But then if that one order comes in, they're not going to screen print it. They're going to DTG it.
Oh yeah, totally.
There you go, shit. Your customer definitely doesn't know. So
no, there are some great places that do DTG in the UK, but most of them are dreadful. And I did have a couple of things outsourced with DTG, and out of 4 jobs, I didn't see one of them. The other 3 I saw, 2 of them were like unfit for purpose.
For human consumption. What was making them unfit? What are you looking at and seeing? What makes them unfit, and like, what are you seeing?
So one of the prints literally started like here, right? For full chest print, like started like, I had to picture like, this print starts at the nipple. Like, I can't send this to my customer.
Yeah.
And it was only a favour I was doing for like one of my customers, because I only wanted 10 of them. And I just thought, well, if you only want 10, like, you've only sold 10, we'll just get it by DTG. And it was, just dreadful. And then they'd like done something weird with the artwork as well, tried to make out like it was me, and it was like, this is a file I sent you, this is how it's come out, like, what have you done? How have you got from like A to B to fucking to titties? Like, honestly, why could you not just like
imagine you responding to that email, you're like, it starts at the nipples, so you're like, oh god, I'm in trouble here. You're not going to come back from that.
I know. What else are you gonna say? And then the other one just looked like just shit, just total shit. So I've just been like, if anybody asks me now about DTG, I'm just like, go to Monster Press. Like, they do really great DTG. Like, I am not gonna try and like outsource it. I'm not going to try and get anybody to do it. Like, just go to them. They're the only place I know that will do a good job.
Okay. Yeah, because those ones that get sent to you like attached to magazines, I was like, have you sent this to every screen printer in the country? This is awful. It was like a big foamy, it was like that foam insulation stuff that you can put in your house when you've like got a hole in the wall. It was awful. God. And somehow they've got the white off. It was just, I was like, this is ruined. Like, this one act that you paid for has ruined your reputation. And they sent it out again the next year. Like, they had the budget again. I don't know.
This is it. I mean, it's the same. It's the same with, like, to be honest, anybody who's like anybody who's a big company, like, I just avoid now, because I just know they don't give a shit. Like, I did get embroidery outsourced for a while at a big company, and same story, just like dreadful, like threads hanging off, like parts of the image like missing. And I'm just like, I can't send this to like my customers, like, and I can't believe I almost had you send this to my customers. This is unbelievable. Like, And, they were good. They were replacing again. But I'm still just like, I am never getting anything done with you again. Like and this is what I told like the DTG company as well. I was like, I could not ever recommend you to anybody. And you have literally put me off DTG. I mean, like the people you speak to, honestly, the people you speak to, they're lovely, but the work is horrendous. So I've got a friend now doing like embroidery for me. And it took a long time to trust somebody again, you know?
Yeah.
But, I was broken inside. And like literally I wouldn't get done anywhere else now. I'm just like, he does a great job. Like, I'm not worried about it. Like, I know he'll do a great job, and that's it really. I'm not doing stuff like just for money, I do it because I want it to look good and I want people to be happy, and like I couldn't sleep at night otherwise. Like I just couldn't.
How do they though? Like, what point do you go?
They?
I don't know. I have no idea. I somebody found like a hole in their jacket sewn up, and I was like, oh my god, I've got to send them a new jacket, then send them like a bag so they can put the old jacket in. Then I've got to send a freebie, and I've got to do it right now. Like, drop everything. I've got to do it right now.
Yeah.
But what else are you going to do? You're going to eat your dinner knowing that. I don't know. I can't.
Somebody out there isn't happy. Yeah.
They just block it out, or they've just got so many people underneath them that they never know about it, or they're making so much money that saying to you, "Oh, here's your 200 quid back," just doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think a lot of time, because they just go straight to a lot of these places, they just go straight white label or whatever to your customer, that you never see them. And your customer doesn't always know what's good or what's bad. So
hope you don't bump into them on the street and see it and be like, oh fuck, I think that was me.
But, that was a very small foray into outsourcing DTG and embroidery that shall never be repeated.
Okay, there you go. I think so much is going to change in the next like year for you. You're just going to be like, I can't believe Chessie's still pushing that like cruiser around manually. Like, yeah, I know.
No, I'll probably get my auto and be like, oh my God, what have I done? This is dreadful. Like, I really wish I'd have, because I'm not able to keep my cruiser. Like, I won't be able to fill it in there whenever I get the auto, but I know it's going to be, I know it's going to be like a huge learning curve. And I know I'm going to probably like, say fuck my life a million times. But I think it's the right thing to do.
You said it was private sales, so hopefully they've had the problems and they've like literally got the gas. You can see what gas they're putting in. You can see what energy they're putting in. You can physically see what space and heat is and how many colours they are actually doing and how quick they're doing it. Instead of like when you do go to events or like looking at brochures and videos, it's like, oh, this print's 10,000 an hour. Like, no one's printing that ever. No one ever has. No one ever will. I don't care how many prints it does an hour. I care. I just want it to be easy to operate and Can
it do more than 100? Sold. Like,
that's literally what we need to do. Are you going to do one of those photos of you standing on top of it and then wondering where the registrations are? Like,
no, I would fall. I am so clumsy. There's no way. I am not like a gazelle. Like, no way.
It's funny because you got like massive Doc Martens on like that thick, so you just absolutely annihilate a plan. Trying to get up there.
Oh my God, no. I mean, like I would love to buy like a new press. Like I have priced up like rocks and stuff as well, which are actually really, really well priced. But I just don't think I've got like the money for it at the minute. I don't know. Maybe if I was like a bit more brave, I'd just like go and get it on like finance. But I'd rather just kind of pay for it and it'd be done and it'd be mine. So
I think that's smart. Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I've still got to go down and see this press, and I am looking at like some other options and stuff at the moment. I just don't want like, I kind of don't want to be pushed into making like a hasty purchase, like, oh, buy it now, regret later sort of thing. Like, I can't be dealing with stuff like that. Like,
sales tactics wash over you. Yeah.
Just like there'll be another. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I've got like a 10,000 piece order that like is relying that I have to get like an order for right now. I've just got like a lot of 50 piece orders or 100 piece orders that it would make my life hopefully easier. So yeah, I'm not like in a mad rush, but I think like now is kind of like the time.
That's
really
a good negotiating platform to be in though. So you've like taken all the desperation off. You have got options. That's the best place to be. So you're not squeezed into a corner at all. And yeah, brilliant. Yeah, you're like a mortgage lender's dream. You're like, I could buy it outright, but I might not. I'm just going to see how it goes.
I wish that would be great. That'd be great.
There's like, have you got time? Because I've taken ages. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Have you ever thought of doing licensed shirts? Because I've seen other people doing like music industry stuff, buying licenses and then selling the merch. Have you ever thought of that? Or
I did see it like a while ago. I know people do that, but do you know what? I just kind of feel like I'm happy with what I've got, and I prefer working with kind of like underground and small bands and or medium bands, you know. So that's kind of what I'm happy doing. Yeah, really. Okay. And yeah, I mean, I'm not like really fussed about printing like, you know, Metallica shirts or something like that. You know, everybody else do that. You know, that's how I feel. Yeah.
I had a workshop teaching someone how to do a 6-color sim process that they were going to bring as a sample to the people who they've licensed the shirts off. I was like, you fucking high. They've never touched a squeegee in their life. They bought all the licensing for like the biggest bands that you can think of. Like I know what the bands are. Right. They're famous. And I was like, what are you doing? You have to bid a lot of money for these licenses. But then I know it is lucrative when you actually get the contract. But yeah. And then I had to just give them the shirt. They didn't know how to print that shirt or emulate that shirt again. They were just like, mix the Pantones. Do the like they thought you just put it in Separation Studio Next and then just go like color crunch. It's like, no. Like it's absolutely nuts. That's what we're up against. Like people who think this is a get rich quick scheme, and it's probably why you don't fancy working with brands, because a lot of people get brainwashed into thinking that a brand is a quick fix money making scheme, which it isn't. It's a hard slog.
I haven't got rich yet. So I'm still waiting on that. No, I'm not. I'm like really not like a very money driven person. I just really. I was happy like to go in my workshop and like, you know, put on the music and just get going. Like I don't really like working with other people. I'm not very good at working. I've done lots of different jobs and I'm not stupid, but I definitely come across as stupid when working in different places because I just don't get things quickly. Like I don't pick up stuff quickly when other people like tell me something like to do X, you have to do Y. And I'm like, okay, like I literally have to do stuff myself to understand it. It takes like a while for it to like sink into like the recesses of my brain. So I'm like, okay, so that's how you do it.
You're not a good robot. You're a creative,
shit robot
person with a skill.
Such a shit robot. Yeah.
Do they like Sims when they're like walking into the wall? That would be me as well. I just feel like fucking overload. You've overloaded me with 5 tasks. I'm absolutely fucked. So I'm just
yeah. That's it. That's me. Like, my brain is just like a sea of misery whenever I've got like too much to do. But which is why I can only. I mean, it probably would be good to have somebody do my admin probably, because like whenever I get like past a certain amount of emails, like if I've got more than like 20 jobs like on my job board that I have to like juggle and like think about, I'm just like whoa like
overheat. And then
yeah, and just like, I just can't lie. I just like shut the laptop. I'm like I can't. I don't know which one to go first, first or whatever. Like I just can't do it. So, but I still have to do them all, and the longer that I leave it, then the more stuff there is to do.
yeah, that's true. I know.
So, yeah. Oh God.
Someone come and help Sarah with her admin.
Yeah, I haven't even answered like any of my emails today. Like I was there at like 11:30 last night. Like, yeah, cool, yeah, right, yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Like, it's just, life is just very, very chaotic at the minute.
The tactic that I was going to tell you about, but then you started saying something interesting about actual printing, is the tactic my mum used to do childcare and also like run a big business, which is just have more children to look after the younger children. That's it.
Yeah, that's just perpetual though.
Yeah, well, you get to about 7 and then like the oldest one's old enough to look after all of them.
Yeah,
that's it. And then live near some woodland, so they basically become feral, but also you don't see them until dinner. Like we used to make like traps for pheasants and shit. I don't think we actually caught many pheasants, but you know, just like weird shit like that. Yeah,
Chessie, go out and bring the dinner home.
No, it was more like my brother go up to a wasp nest and scream at it, and then we wonder why we're like covered in stings. But then my mum didn't see us until dinner time because the older ones were kind of looking after you, kind of torturing you, putting you in a thing. Just more kids. So
no, that is cool. There's definitely not enough of that with childcare in our life. Don't come back till it's dinner time. But like, don't eat these berries, but eat anything else you find.
Don't talk to him at number 10. He's a right creep. That's all the advice you need.
Survival skills.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the Irish way, but you're in Wales, aren't you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a big forest side the house though, so that's fine. I'll just shove the kids in there.
Yeah, that's it. Don't worry about it. As if I fucking know. I'm like dodged the kid train like massively, thankfully. But yeah, I can't do like 2 hours of babysitting without looking at my watch trying to like, can I go home now? Am I still the favourite auntie? Is that all I need? And then tap out. I don't know. Yeah. But it's so good like hearing all your stuff. I feel like you're in the so much is going to happen in the next year and a half for you. So you need to be
thank you. Yeah, I
re-interviewed on a regular basis.
I hope so. Yeah, hopefully next time I speak to you, I'll be like, yes, I've got an auto. And hopefully things aren't as crazy, but I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, you know.
Is there anyone who I haven't interviewed who you'd like to see interviewed next? Or
there's like loads of people.
You should tell me, because sometimes I just contact them. I don't think they're going to do it. Like I've got P & Co. I'm trying to get like the head of AS Colour. I got Ryan Moore. That was like, oh God. I
haven't watched that yet. Yeah, that was cool.
No one's uncontactable, I don't think. So
I don't know. Just keep.
I'm doing Jack from Old Elton's again. I'm going back to the, and then if I can not get a stitch, I'll get Pavon again in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah. He's just
so the series 2 people understand the series 1.
He's just so funny. Oh God, he said so many things, so many ridiculous things.
Okay. I'll ask him directly because it doesn't look like stuff that you can re-articulate.
No.
Okay. Well, I think you've missed the bath time perfectly.
Oh, I can hear. I can hear like some type of scream going on downstairs. So no, haven't quite avoided it.
Stay up here for another half hour. So shut up.
I did make them, so you know they are my responsibility.
Yeah.
My husband is downstairs putting them to bed. By the way, I haven't just left them screaming downstairs like to fend for themselves. Just like put them in a room and like got a box of Rice Krispies and just threw them in like. Feed yourselves, children.
This door locks from both sides. That's not funny. No. Sorry, everybody. No one needed that. Yeah, I'd love to like show you the shop and stuff, but it's not ready yet. But kind of want to like invite everyone down instead of going to like one of these print expos. We'll just have a party at someone's place. Maybe someone who's got like a big warehouse who can host it or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Little camping trip. All I've got is a builder's yard and some containers, but who knows? Maybe I'll think of something.
That's all right. I think Pav was on about having a meetup this year, again at some point. So hopefully you can make it down to that whenever that happens.
Brilliant.
I say I think that he's organising it. Sorry, Pav, if you watch this and you're like, shit, I've got to do that now. But
yeah, it's on the podcast, so you have to do it now, and everyone's expecting it. So
no, I just like love like chatting to like other print shops around the UK. It's just the best. Like because I work on my own, I kind of feel like other people, like my co-workers. Do you know what I mean? Like whenever you're chatting with people, it's just like to see what you're doing today. It's just kind of not quite. So even though I don't like working with people, I like
all isolated in our little things, but not because we can all see what everyone else is doing too. Yeah,
it's really cool. Like, I love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Well, go and follow Heck Press because she's got really good artwork on her Instagram, and you should hope that you're as good as that.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm very, very lucky to work with the people I work with. So, yeah.
It's all them, but it's me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.
Okay,
bye,
see you then. Bye.
Bye.